One of my favorite quotes of all time comes from Viktor Frankl, who was a neurologist. He was a Holocaust survivor. He wrote this book called Man's Search for Meaning. He had
Mhm.
tens of millions of copies sold. And one of the things that he said is that, when he reflected on all of his time inside a concentration camp, all of his time really as a therapist for the other prisoners inside, and he was asked, like, what is the secret to survival? What is the secret to resilience? And ultimately, what is the secret to happiness? And one of his answers was that in between impulse and response, there is a space. And inside that space are our choices. And inside those choices lies our freedom. So impulse, response, space, choices, and those choices are freedom. And, I think his argument is that the tighter that space is, right, the more reactive we are, the less choices we have. And the less choices we have, the less freedom we have. And so I think that there's something really, really important. I believe in relationships, I believe in work, to non-reactivity.
Mhm.
And it cuts a little bit against, I think, the way that the world seems to be moving. Like, I think speed is something that we talk about so much now,
Yeah.
where it's almost as if, like, if you're not instantly reacting to things, you're going to be left behind.
Mhm.
But the more that I study, I think, just exceptional leaders and sort of see how they behave, they're actually typically not like hair on fire type of people. I don't perceive that. I don't notice that when I talk to the people around them. That's not how they are perceived as well. In fact, there is more of a sense of calm and there's more of a sense of non-reactivity. Now, that's not to be confused with laziness or not caring or not being aggressive or not working hard, because I think all of that can
Mhm.
coexist. You can work really hard. You can, want to achieve big things and at the same time not be like overly reactive in every moment of your day, because again, when you have that reaction time, when you give yourself that space gives you choices and you can make better decisions, you can be more creative, and ultimately I think you can be kinder to the people around you and to yourself, which only enhances, I think, the energy that you want to bring to a project.
Mhm.
So I think the space is really, really important. One of the things though is I've been reflecting on this lately, which is like oftentimes we're quick to act on anger and we're slow to act on kindness. The other day I was interviewing Ben Cohen, who is, the Ben in Ben and Jerry's. And I was in Vermont and I was spending time with Ben and Jerry. And I asked Ben, what's one of the greatest leadership lessons you've learned? And he said to act quickly with kindness and specifically to catch someone doing something right. Right, to catch someone doing something. I thought it was so powerful because, like, look, I was an entrepreneur. I managed people and I worked in companies. And oftentimes, I think we were sort of almost conditioned to catch people doing something wrong. Like, what are people doing wrong and what can we do to correct that? But what if our approach was actually to catch people doing something right, to really act quickly on those moments where it's like, wow, that was awesome. And I want to let you know that. How would that change things inside the culture? I think the same is true in our personal lives. And, how many times I have been like, hey, I should call that person that I haven't spoken to in years, but I'm thinking about them right now. And I sort of put that almost like on a to-do list that I'll come back to. But if I'm angry about something or if I'm agitated about something, I want to act on it so quickly. And I think if there's anything right now that I'm trying to work on myself, and the most important thing is to really flip that,
Mhm.
to act slowly on anger, to act slowly on irritation, to act quickly on kindness. If my kid does something wonderful, I want to let them know that right away. If there's a friend that I want to call, I want to call them right away. Even if I don't catch them, leave them a voicemail and just say, I'm thinking about you. And there was some research that came out in the New York Times recently about the power of an 8-minute phone call, right? Just 8 minutes of connecting with somebody and how it reduces not only loneliness for you, but the loneliness for them. And I know we're busy, but even if the first thing you say when you jump on the phone is, hey, I have like 8 minutes right now, or I have less than 10 minutes, but I just wanted to tell you, like, I've been thinking about you. I wanted to catch up and kind of like dive straight into like something. The last time we spoke, you told me this. I just wanted to see how that was going, right? And get into it quickly, like almost eliminate the small talk and like ask them something of like depth. I think that's something that I want to be doing more of in my life right now because I believe that like when I watch other people do this, they're less lonely and their relationships are just deeper.